you shooting your bow and arrow? You what? Oh, okay. Well, come on and eat. Let's go. You almost shot a squirrel?
Yeah.
All right, come on in.
Well, fortunately, that first trimester flew by pretty quickly. And before I know it, I am feeling really good. I am in my second trimester. All of my morning sickness and symptoms are gone. And now it is crunch time. I have a few weeks before my back starts to hurt at about 25 weeks, where I am trying to tackle as many projects around the farm as I possibly can. So I am getting in a quick breakfast for everybody, which is typically scrambled eggs. That's a pretty staple breakfast around here. And I am cooking up a bunch of ham steaks so that I can chop them up and save them for breakfasts throughout the week. And moving along and getting outside and enjoying a beautiful day in the garden. Of course, there are weeds that just pop up overnight, so it feels good to get some fresh air and get outside and start getting my hands dirty. Last fall, I moved the chicken tractor into the garden and thought it would be a brilliant idea to allow the chickens to just completely free range in our fenced-in garden. Now, on one hand, it was great. They ate all of the rotting tomatoes and any leftover produces that we didn't get to. They ate up, they scratched around, they did an amazing job of working that soil. But when we came out to the garden this spring and saw all of our garden beds had been just trashed, we knew that we needed to get some stones in place and start defining the garden edges again. So the girls are helping me put these beds back together. Now, if you remember, a few months ago, my husband made this watering tank for me with the hydroseeding pipe, and it has been working amazingly. These buckets fill up in no time at all, and I have wonderful helpers.
We have a new little baby born. Just Sayla. There we go. Marge. So this one looks fresh. And it's not typical for these sheep to have single lambs. And I'll be honest, that lamb doesn't look too huge to be a single. So I'm kind of curious if she is not holding on to that second lamb. And did she have it there? How do you know?
Right here.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep, there's the blood and the umbilical cord. All right, cool, great observation.
Ew.
Yep, poopies. There's some more blood over there. So, so we're going to get her up. I am a little surprised. Hey Gideon, why don't you run over the edge there and just see if you don't see anything. Hey guys, we might do a little scan of the field and make sure that there's not maybe a dead baby sitting around here. Because it's very unlike them to just have one, okay? So, watch Marge, Sayla. Yeah, that's just a lot of wool. So anyway, hey! So Marge is still very young. She is 2. And this is normally when livestock guardian dogs kind of become a little rambunctious and start to, I guess, show their naughtiness. And I do not want Marge to snag up one of the lambs. Marge is very, very playful. So it would be completely, it would make complete sense if she were to try playing with the lamb and smash it. So we're going to keep Mama and new baby up at the barn for a few days, make sure that she passes a placenta. Now the frustrating thing is Marge could have eaten the placenta. The mama could have eaten the placenta. So anyway, I'm gonna go up and just try to monitor her. And we will do a field check and make sure there are not any lambs dead somewhere.
Because we only have one lamb.
Yep. Just walk them up to the barn, Sayla. I'll be right there.
This lamb's really hard.
So we got spun around in that one. Definitely makes things difficult when you're pregnant. Okay.
Once I got the sheep all up to the barn, I noticed there was one ewe in particular that was limping pretty good. So that's a pretty good indicator that we're dealing with some hoof rot. And so I flipped her over, not so gracefully. It's a little difficult to work around with my belly. But got her where I needed her to be and started clipping away at her hooves, which the sheep get, a couple hoof trimmings a year anyway, so I figured it was about time. And as I was trimming, I found a little spot on her hoof that I needed to cut away a little bit. The hoof rot really thrives in those anaerobic environments where the oxygen cannot get to it, and so it's a stinky job. But I got that hole cleaned out, and I'm going to keep an eye on her, but usually just by clipping it away, it does a pretty good job of clearing it up. So onto the garden, I have been saving cardboard all winter long, and I'm starting to get some of the big pieces out to lay in the market garden. It does a fantastic job of snuffing out the weeds so that you can plant directly on the soil. I've been using cardboard now for about 5 years and love it. Shay is off in the distance there looking for her pet toad that went and hid in the cardboard. I don't blame him. She's like Elmira. Oh my goodness. So anyway, I'm laying this cardboard out and I'm going to put mushroom soil down just to start snuffing some of the weeds out so we can get some garden beds going this season.
I have a good layer of cardboard down. We have so much. There's a pile. There's a huge pile behind the shed. The shed's filled. So the plan is to cover this entire area. You can see where we had rows last year, and this we did not turn to garden beds. So you can kind of see very, very faint lines where we had beds last year. And long story short, weeds ended up taking over. So we are cardboarding it all again this year. Well, I shouldn't say again, we did not cardboard any of this market garden last year. So we are cardboarding it, kind of starting over from scratch. I am going to lay a huge layer of mushroom soil down. And then I think what I'm going to do differently is that each row, as I'm planting, I'm going to lay down a row of mulch, because how I've done it before is I've dropped the tractor load bucket of mushroom soil and then mulch and then mushroom soil and then mulch, and it just takes so daggone long. So I'm hoping that if I can just layer everything with mushroom soil, and then, like I said, as we're planting, I'll just do a layer of mulch as I go. That might be a little bit more manageable. So I'm going to do all this, and then I'm going to get a heavy-duty haylage tarp and cover everything that we're not planting, and then just fold it back as we go. So that way everything has soil on it, and it'll be covered so weeds won't grow, and it'll just sit here until we are ready to plant. And then whatever I don't get planted this year, since I am pregnant and will probably not be working on this garden full force like I planned on, I'll just keep it covered, and we'll uncover it next year if we decide to plant. So no pressure, we're just doing it a little bit at a time. And so we started working on this perennial garden the chickens got in and destroyed the beds. So we're now lining them with rock, and we are not going to allow the chickens in this winter. I have this thistle type of weed that is taking over these patches. I've not weeded anything really this spring, so I need to go through here and take care of that. And, you know, Charles Dowding says that weeds are not immortal, so you just have to keep working on them. And if I did not have those words in the back of my mind through this whole process, I would probably have given up because it is so overwhelming. So it'll come together. It'll come together. And then the raspberries and the blueberries. Holy cow, the blueberries are going to be a whole nother thing, but we'll deal with that later.
And back inside, when I don't really know what I want to have for lunch, oh, risotto is definitely my go-to. It is quick and easy, and with an Instant Pot, it becomes effortless. I just use that Instant Pot on the saute feature and throw some onions and garlic powder and rice and butter and toast it up, and then throw some white wine in and some chicken stock and let it cook. I let the machine do the cooking for me. It is delicious, it's hearty, and all of my children love some risotto, so that is a perfect meal for when farm life gets a little hectic and I don't have time to be creative. Now, I can't remember if I shared with you that we had 3 mama cats that all within 3 days of each other had kittens. They each had 4 kittens. So we have 12 adorable little kittens that are running around in their little kitten nursery. And they are starting to get to that age where they're becoming playful and noticing feathers and strings, and oh my goodness, they're just so much fun. So these kittens, we are hoping to keep a majority of them for around the farm. We've got our horse barn across the street, and we've got our home farm, and we are going to be using them as rodent control. Now, we will be setting up a spay and neuter date ASAP for all of them. Here I am trying to sort through the dozens and dozens and dozens of eggs that we've collected this week, get them labeled into boxes and put in the cold room to help preserve them for the summer months. Now, the big task that I had going on this particular week was planting asparagus. I ordered 85 asparagus plants, and they actually gave me over 100. So I thought that I was making progress with these 85, and then when I got done, I had a bunch more plants to plant. So I ended up planting a whole nother, I think, 25-foot bed in the other portion of the garden. But this was a pretty big task. I'm glad I got it done before the sun and temperatures got too hot. But little Shay was my helper. She was snagging up all of the grubs and putting them in the bucket and helping me dig these holes.
About 20 holes done. Yeah. Digging holes for asparagus today. So we're about 20 holes in. And we've got about 60 more holes, actually 65 more to go. It's gonna be a long day. Might be a long 2 days. So Shay is helping me plant 85 asparagus plants. She is taking all the grubs. She's taking all the grubs out of the dirt, and we're gonna feed them to all the chickens. I'll show you. Good job. That's a lot of grub. Ooh, that is gonna be a delicious meal for those chickens. And my husband's coming in to check on me. He has been working up in the shop, getting lawnmowers serviced and blades sharpened and all those things that he does to help keep the farm running behind the scenes.
Shay is super excited to show him these grubs. He actually was really excited when I told him that we were going to feed them to the chickens. So, one thing about my husband, he does not like vegetables. Not at all. He'll eat corn, he'll eat potatoes, sometimes Brussels sprouts, but he doesn't like fruits, doesn't like anything else. So he kind of laughs at my garden because he's like, you do you, Lee, you do you. If that's how you want to spend your time out in the garden growing food that tastes gross, you have at it.
We are more than halfway. Woohoo! We're making it. Shay, will you show the collection of grubs that you have now? This is insane. Who's coming over for dinner? You coming over for dinner?
Yeah.
We gonna have grubs for dinner?
Yeah.
Ew, no! But we're gonna take them to the chickens, and that is gonna be fun to watch. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah.
Right, so here's our grub bucket. Got a bunch of them. Salem made mud pie and mud cake and mud cupcakes. All right, let's count these holes. 1, 2, 3, 4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 78, 79,
80.
81, 82, 83, 84.
Nuh-uh.
What?
That's pretty darn perfect. My eyeballing spacing must have worked out pretty good. Oh,
Gross.
Ew, they're so gross on my fingers. Ah! They just feel so weird. Yeah, chicky. Ooh, everybody grab yours. Bugs for everybody.
Oh!
Thank you.
These are big pretty roosters.
Yeah, they are.
After I got the holes all dug, now I am soaking the asparagus plants in some water before I plant them. I think it just helps them come to life, and gets them hydrated before you put them in the soil. Even though I water them pretty well once I plant them, just giving them a good soaking.
You see. Okay, so we're gonna come down here and spread these little legs out and then cover it up. Make sure those roots are all covered. Go to the next one. Spread the little legs out. Make sure they're covered and tucked.
It's these beautiful, beautiful moments where my children can come to me and talk about all sorts of wonderful things they have on their minds, and we can work together. I don't ever want to forget these moments. These are so precious. At the end of a hard day, a hard week, it's very difficult to justify spending time enjoying the hard work. For both Chris and I, we struggle with sitting down and just resting because we both know that there is so much that needs to be done around the farm. And we look at the front yard and see the holes that need filled in and grass seed planted. We see the garden beds that need edged. We see the weeds that need pulled or weed whacked. We see the grasses that are growing that need to be mowed, and tree branches that need picked up, and trees that need pruning, and barns that need some restoration work to them, and stone walls that need put in place, fences that need to be mended. It's just an endless list of work that needs to be done. And so it's difficult to just stop and say, look at everything that we've done, look at everything that we are doing, and just rest. So it has been very important to us that we take our Sundays and we cherish our Sundays as a day given to us by the Lord, that we spend time with Him. But He gave us our Sundays so that we can rest our bodies, we can rest our minds. And it is a day set aside that we can sit down with no guilt, no shame, and we have to tell ourselves this every time we sit down. Remember, this is what we're supposed to do today. We're supposed to rest. So we've been trying to enjoy our Sundays and just sit back and be thankful for everything that the Lord has blessed us with, and just cherish where we are and what we have, and be thankful for all of the beautiful things that the Lord has created, and be thankful that we have strong bodies that have been able to work all week long.